Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to some more Magic the Gathering Arena. I apologize if you were expecting some Call of Pripyat. Unfortunately, I lost like all my footage for that, so I have run out of time. So we're playing this again. I'm sort of done with messing around with Pripyat for today, so we're gonna do some nice calm magic instead. So I'll just get straight into it. I did make a new deck, a bit of a fun one. If it works amazing. If it doesn't work. So I found this one online and kind of tweaked it a little bit. But it's kind of a very specific strategy. It's a heavy blue control deck that's designed to mill your opponents, where pretty much like every single like monster in it, spell in it, and a lot of the lands and stuff are designed around buying you time, just so you can get your draw machine going. So we'll see how we go with this one. It wasn't a bad opening hand. We have Essence Scatter, we have Water Knot, so two very good sort of like control. Yeah, okay, we'll just play out Mystic Archaeologist. So if you've ever played against a blue mill deck or seen a blue mill deck, nothing in this will shock you. But, you know, I love the idea of a mill deck. No. That's not happening, friend. Bless his heart, though, he tried. Okay. We won't throw out the Scholar of Stars because we don't have an artifact yet, but the Arcane Encyclopedia does count as an artifact, which works well for us. He will probably bring something out now. Yep. No reason to believe he wouldn't. Now, we might, because he's not going to attack with that. He will just sort of hold it. Maybe he will attack with it. We'll see. We'll see what he does. So we might even just throw out Divination. No, we'll spend the full mana and get one card. And it's another land, which is excellent. Now, he knows he can block me, but see, like, the best part about this deck, and what I love about, like, mill decks, is it doesn't matter what his life is. Like, you just take life out of the equation. Like, life doesn't matter in a deck like this. If you can get it, it's good. So we will actually play out Dwindle on his Stowaway. And we will attack. If he blocks it, he instantly dies. He's just going to let it through, which is fine by me. I will keep the pressure on. I don't expect to beat him with like, by destroying his life. I don't see that happening. But, you know, who knows? Wow, okay. This is the danger of this deck. Now, I really ought to chuck a lot more lands, because this deck has like 25 lands in it, I think. And the number of times I've played this deck and just gotten, like, just land draws over and over and over again. Okay, so this is a good trade for him because he realizes that he deals 1 damage and heals 1, which, you know, good on him. But the thing is, I can keep the pressure on like this, right? He now can't do anything. I will use the Encyclopedia. And I got a Diamond Mare, which is pretty good. Now, he could block the Scholar of Stars, but he probably won't till the very end. I don't think he realizes how much of a control deck I've got just yet. Okay. 2 Saplings, not the worst thing. Okay, and more land. That's a bit less useful. Obviously, we'll say blue. And he's gone, yep. So yeah, this deck is very, very, very monocolor. Like, it's got all the annoying blue cards. We'll have a look at it right now. What did I get? Ooh, fancy. Probably never use it, but okay. Now let's have a look. So you've got all the annoying ones: Disperse, Essence Scatter, Mystic Archaeologist just there for draw. Diamond Mare, so because it's a monocolored deck, like there's some artifacts in it, but because it's primarily like a straight up blue deck, if you do the Diamond Mare and throw it down blue, it's an excellent stall because every single blue you play gets you 1 life. Field Creepers, they are there for something we'll look at a bit later, but just know they're there as an artifact. Like, it's there for its type, nothing else really. Divination for draw, Dwindle for control, Psychic Corrosion. So this is sort of the core of our deck, right? So it's whenever you draw a card, each opponent puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. So if we can get all 3 out, we play a Divination. That's 2 cards, and it's 2 per card. Sorry, it's 2 per card per card. So if we have 3 of these out, they drop 6 for every one of mine. So suddenly that's 12 cards they have to mill. From Divination. Now, Waterknot's just more control. Arcane Encyclopedia is just constant draw, which is what we want if we get even 1 Psychic Corrosion or 2. Sky Scanner, again, it's just an artifact, and it has draw, so double top. Bone to Ash is a creature counter. Probably one I'd get rid of. Like, I'm pretty sure that the template only had it there because it's got to draw a card, but there's only 1 in the deck, and it's a 4 cost to counter specifically a creature spell. It's kind of shit. But I guess in this deck, I don't know what I would replace it with. So we have 4 Skulls of Stars, because when they enter the battlefield with an artifact, you draw a card. Again, so you can see the pattern here, right? It's just all about drawing cards once you've got at least 1 Psychic Corrosion down. And then you'll probably draw into the other ones. Now, Patient Rebuilding is an excellent card, so at the beginning of my upkeep, the opponent puts the top 3 cards of their library into the graveyard, and for each land card they put in there, I get to draw a card before my draw. So if you have this out and Psychic Corrosion, that's potentially 3 draws you're going to get, which is 6 mills for them, plus the 3 of this card. So it's potentially like 9 mills before it's even like properly your turn, which is kind of mental. Now this is another excellent stall, and this is partially why there's so many artifacts in this deck, and it's because Tezzeret, if you bring him out, he can do a +1 to create a Thopter artifact, a 1/1, which you can just use to chump block. Or if you pay 0, you draw a card. If you control 3 or more artifacts, you draw 2 instead. So then think, if you haven't Corrosion out, that's milling 4. The -9 basically never gets used. So it's just at the beginning of your end step, search the library for a permanent, put it into the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So you just get to pick whatever you want. It can be a good way to get your other Psychic Corrosions out, but it is a 9 cost, and he only gets +1 for each Thopter. So the way I've been running it is I use him to summon Thopters to just chump block, because it's 1 every turn that you can bring out, plus whatever else. And then if I happen to have a clear board on their team, I might use the 0 to just draw cards and mill them out. Gatekeeper Gargoyle, artifact, and flying. Now, his special ability is he gets +1/+1 counter for each gate I control. I don't have any gates in this deck. They're kind of pointless for this deck. You want the, just regular land. Nezahal Primal Tide, excellent card. No max hand size. If my opponent casts a non-creature spell, I draw a card, which means I mill at least 2. And I can discard 3 cards from my hand, I can exile him, and return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So basically, if he gets equipped with any type of control thing, I can just throw away 3 cards, which I should be drawing a lot of, and drop him to the exile thing. Overflowing Insight. So this is sort of like the game winner if it hasn't won by that point. So target player draws 7 cards. So I can draw 7 cards, which means he has to mill at least 14. Potentially a lot more. Like if I have 2, he would have to mill 28. If I had 2 corrosions. If I had 3, he would have to mill 7 × 6, 42. Which is crazy. That's like 3/4 of his deck milled in one go. Or obviously I could just use it to, if he's low already but he's killed my Psychic Corrosions, I could just make him draw 7 cards on my turn, and then when his turn comes, it's over. Now, Windreader Sphinx, So whenever a creature with flying attacks, you draw a card. So that's the main reason the Gatekeeper Gargoyle's here, just because it's an artifact and a flyer. Meteor Golem, just a little bit of extra control, and it's actually 23 islands. So yeah, it's kind of a disgusting deck. I love the idea of a mill deck. I love like the intricacies of it and sort of the synergy between everything in a mill deck, because milling someone out with 60 cards is hard work. Like, you have to have a deck that is designed to do that, and you have to be able to survive that 60 card mill. Okay, that's not great, but we have Divination, so I think I'm okay with this hand. We have Disperse, we have Dwindle, those can control. Windreader Sphinx is a bit of an anchor card. Like, that one's... it'll probably never leave our hand. Because the odds of us getting 7 land, probably not that high. If we get 7 land and we haven't died yet, I'll be pretty impressed. Because it's like, it's a bit of a weird thing. Windreader Sphinx is decent in theory, because it's guaranteed draw, but it's like, by the time you get to 7 land, if you haven't either died, because you haven't made it that far, or you don't need the Windreader Sphinx, it's kind of a weird situation to be in. There are a couple of decks that obviously kick the shit out of this one that I've encountered quite a bit. Merfolk deck, not as much. If they do the Merfolk deck and focus on the one that's unblockable, that is a big deal. But if it's a Merfolk deck that focuses on +1/+1 counters, it's not too bad. You can tend to control that pretty heavy. A green deck, so either solid green or green and red, anything with trample kind of fucks this deck pretty hard. Because a lot of like Dwindle and stuff only takes 6 off the enchanted creature. So like a lot of the bigger green creatures are beyond 6. Okay, so we have our first Psychic Corrosion, so I might just rush that. The way I've sort of found to play this deck is control the battlefield first, then worry about draw. So, like, if you can stop them building a board, do that first. Don't be tempted to, like, go straight to the Psychic Corrosion and just work from there. But in this case, I absolutely can. He hasn't put anything on the board, which means I can already get sort of a head start on him. How many cards has he got in his hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. He's got to be able to play something here. There we go. Oh, that's actually not too bad. Now, I think we might actually play that, because we need to draw. Okay, not helpful. Not really helpful either. Yeah, so like a green or green and red deck, they have a lot of big creatures that go beyond that -6. Plus they have a lot of equips, which can bring them back up again. It definitely slows them down, which is kind of what most of the cards in this deck are about. But yeah, in the long run, it just isn't enough. Especially like if they throw out like an aggressive mammoth, that kicks your ass, because it gives everyone trample, so then even if you like tap the mammoth, you're kind of stuck. All creatures able to block Okran Assassin do so. Fair enough. Ooh, see, now we've hit a bit of a crossroads. I am actually thinking that maybe we do rush the second Psychic Corrosion, because suddenly we can get a lot of cards milled. And 3 damage a turn, we can take that for a while. Obviously, his Okran Assassin is kind of a scary thing. But see, that's not a concern for us. Like, in a perfect world, we're not going to kill any creatures. So, to that I say kind of like a whoop-de-fucking-do. I do want some more land, though, is what I need. And there it is. So now we're going to get him to mill 8. You do have a land. I have to chuck. I will chuck probably the Sphinx. Like, the Overflowing Insight's the same cost, and I think it will be the one that wins the game for us. Because that will be 7 by 2 by 2. This will be 28 cards to mill in one turn. And because he's a green-black, he won't have a counter. Which is good. My worry here, which I haven't played this deck against like a Golgari, an actual Golgari deck that has like Undergrowth. And I'm kind of concerned about milling his deck with something that's got Undergrowth as a core like mechanic. So here's the other problem. Now, this one does not handle Planeswalkers very well. Okay, that's sure. So he's getting kind of worried about my mill, clearly. So I can throw out the Diamond Mare and the other, which I might just have to do. Yeah, I think we will. And I should have done that in the other order, obviously, to get a little bit of life before I get attacked here for 3, but that's okay. So obviously I'm going to have to block his Ocarina Assassin. Yeah, so see, there's the Undergrowth. And does that also have Undergrowth? And Moltok enters the battle. Spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature card in your graveyard. Yeah, so this is kind of like I've played directly into his hand. By each creature able to do so. Oh, oof. Wow, okay, that is way powerful. He'll kill the Diamond Mare. It's a good move. And this is basically GG.
Sometimes sacrifice.
And yeah, he doesn't need his land anymore. He's already got out his big stuff. Yeah, well that answers that question then. That obviously this is quite a strong deck against my mill deck. So I'm going to just throw this down. Moltok doesn't have trample. Would not surprise me if he pushed the board. It's probably worth it. He kind of will win. If he pushes the board, he will win. Actually, no, he won't. He won't. He would take me down. Will he? Yeah, he probably will. I'll either be on like 1 health or dead. Depends how I block. But he might just elect for the slow death. Or yeah, he'll do something else. At least I can get that off the field. Which means he'll only hit me for 1. Yeah, sorry, the other one that really, that the mill deck really doesn't work on is like a proper Izzet deck. Obviously, because... Yeah, okay, so it's GG.
I haven't forgotten how to destroy things.
Yeah, so, yeah, a proper Izzet deck, because proper, like, scary Izzet decks usually focus around having instants and sorceries in the graveyard and using, like, Crackling Drakes and Enigma Drakes to, like, build up their power by how many instants or sorceries are in the graveyard. So milling their deck is kind of a dangerous proposition, because a lot of their stuff also will just get jump-started, so it doesn't really matter so much. But yeah, it's a very interesting deck. I hope I get a win out of it in this match. Oh, I guess I did. The first one was a win. He just sort of conceded because he couldn't see it happening. Now I have found, depending on my draw, the black-white vampire deck can be a bit hit or miss. Now, it's probably what he's got. I'm guessing he has a Take Vengeance, which is why he is getting paused. Would be, like, that would be my guess. No? Okay, so he's got white-green. Maybe a Hunted Witness? Or he does have Take Vengeance, which against me is not going to be much of a big deal. This deck doesn't really depend on creatures, it depends on control. So the creatures are literally only there to chop block. What do you do again? Creature control gain trample to the end of the turn, it's pretty good. Or create a 2/2 Elf Knight creature token. Nice. It's not bad. So next turn I'll probably save it for the Bone to Ash. Interesting. This must be a constructed deck, because this is quite weird. Well, I suppose it has to be if it's like got Conclave Guild Mages and stuff. I don't think they're in any of the preset decks. Interesting. He also did not attack me. Quite strange. Yeah, okay, I don't want to let him get any more creatures on the field if I can avoid it. I was going to say, like, I could play Psychic Corrosion, and then next turn, when he tries to play Creature, I Bone to Ash and mill him for 4, but it's kind of a dangerous proposition. I don't know what he's going to try and play. Okay. I guess that's just free land draw. Fair enough, let's just trade one land for one land. Okay, so that's something I don't want you to have. Unfortunately. Okay, so Sift, really good card for this deck. He's still not attacking me. I'm not sure why. I don't know what he thinks this deck is about, but I think he's about to realize. And if he's smart, he will, like, press the attack. Now, I don't really need a Scholar of Stars. And I think he kind of actually needs his deck. So yeah, ultimately, like, this deck is good against anything that needs its library to actually play. Like, some black decks and stuff where they turf out their graveyard or work on tokens. This deck doesn't work amazingly against. But most white decks, pretty good. Most red decks pretty good, like red-blue's a bit of a hit or miss, and red-green is a bit of a hit or miss, but red-black, red-white, yeah, no, that's it. So red-blue. Oh, and mono-red. Mono-red is fine. Because they usually focus on, like, getting the Demanding Dragon and stuff out, and then you can just dwindle them. He's now really tossing up, like, whether to attack or not. I think he's realizing he's, like, made a mistake in not attacking. Yep. Ooh. Okay, interesting. I'm really surprised that he's not just, like, pressing this attack. I don't know what he's waiting for. I will just wait and see what his what happens to his Ajani's Pridemate, because obviously if, you know, if it starts getting buffed, I'll probably Water Knot it. I don't know what this deck is the problem. Okay. So he's going to summon 2 1/1 White Soldier tokens with life. Let's just get rid of that. And obviously the idea is he's trying to build his Pride Mate. Weird that he didn't, like, do a full Convoke for that. Because what is it? It's like 2 whites and a green, and then X. So he only did like 4. That's fine. If he wants to take one, that's a-okay. He also just had to convoke like literally all his creatures to do that, so it's again kind of a silly move. Let's just do this. I am a little concerned about the Conclave Guildmage. Like, if he gets something actually big out, he could give everything trample. But I'm going to hopefully stop him doing that. I might even hold on to Essence Scatter until he does a turn where he, like, has to fully tap his board to convoke something out. One or more of your creature tokens will be created under your control. That many 4/4. Nice! That's a good card. It's a very interesting card. Okay. I'm wondering whether I play my first creature of the day, and maybe not. Or I could summon the Field Creeper. And I think we're actually going to do that. I could obviously summon both, but I am saving the Essence Scatter for something like actually scary. I do just wish this deck had more counter in it for actual spells, because like that would be something I probably want to counter. But for whatever reason, and I haven't changed it because I haven't done that much with this deck. Okay, so he's going to take the second Psychic Corrosion. Nice! And yeah, like I could have stopped that. Yeah, like these are just weird things. Like weird... Why would you not have proper counter spells? I guess these are cheaper, but I don't know. Like I don't see how that's going to help. What do we actually throw in his graveyard? Okay, I could Venerate Loxodon. Ah, we did throw Amara and the Conclave Cavalier. So he's actually pretty wrecked on things. So we will target one of his tribunals. Just go ahead and get that back. And I will tickle him just so he thinks that I'm not just looking to mill. Okay. And he's only going to get a 3/3. If he attacks, I will obviously block with the Meteor Golem. So I don't know what the thought is here. And the Elf Knight only has Vigilance, it doesn't have Lifelink. So once again, don't really care. I'm still pretty sure he has a Take Vengeance in his hand. And he's tossing up Weather to hit the Field Creeper with it, just to get rid of it. Okay, so he knows... Obviously, I'll hit that one. Like, why would I attack? Like, yeah, the Guild Mage has a higher... Like, it is technically a higher value, but... The value that the Lifelink Soldier gives the Ajani's Pride Mate is literally infinite. Okay. Let's cause some trouble. Do I force a trade? It won't force... No. Now, the problem is, though, he has done Divine Visitation. Oh, nice. After he played March of the Multitudes, which is kind of the point. The idea is to get Divine Visitation on the field first, then do March of the Multitudes. He does have enough mana to start summoning the 2/2 Vigilance dudes, though, and I don't know why he doesn't. Because that would instead be 4/4s with Vigilance. Which is kind of strange that he wouldn't do that. I will play the Mystic Archaeologist. Yeah, okay, we'll do this. So I'll play this. I'll play the Sky Scanner. I will leave 2 for the Essence Scatter. And I'll attack with a Wind Reader Sphinx. So unless he pulls something quite impressive from his deck, I think I've pretty much got this. What is that worth to me? Okay, I will keep the pressure on him this time. Because, yeah, obviously if I attack with the Wind Reader Sphinx, and he has a Take Vengeance, he'll then get rid of it, and that'll stop my draw. So, like, if I had some sort of draw card in my hand, I probably would, just for the 1 extra. But, it's not worth it to me to trade it. Nice, so that's actually pretty scary now. I do have Dwindle. It's unlikely he's going to summon something else. I can block with the Wind Reader Sphinx. I think that will generally be okay. Also, they would have had lifelink if he didn't trade them for the Angels, which is kind of an unfortunate play on his part. So he can't attack with anything, or he knows I'll just trade it out. Yeah. Okay, no, I'm pretty sure this is GG at this point. He has 17 cards left in his... Sorry, 15 cards left. I will just play... I suppose a 3/3/6/8, yep. So I'll go another Psychic Corrosion. I will play Dwindle on one of these. That's a scary card otherwise, though. And that leaves me 2 for Essence Scatter. If he happens to bring out something big and scary, which I don't think he really has in his deck at this point. Certainly will. And there's a card draw. Like, constant card draw. So this is pretty much GG. The only complaint I have with mill decks is, like, they feel filthy. I have mad respect for anyone that plays against a deck like this, gets to this situation with 10 cards left, and knows I can make them draw like a shit ton, and they just stick in it. Mad respect, rather than conceding. So we'll see if this guy stays until the end. Okay. It's a good card. Don't get me wrong. Sure. Literally all I have to do is survive this attack. And he's dead. So, with that in mind, we will block you. We will block you. We will block... you know what? No. We will block you. And then, my turn, I draw, he throws 2. He throws 4, actually, and, GG, I will just pass my turn. Done! That is how you mill. So, that was some pretty good draws on my part. Like, if I had to break this game down, like that particular game, I'd say it was a few pretty good draws on my part. a lot of misplays on his part. I don't know why he sat there for so long just not attacking me. When I had no creatures out. Like, I had no creatures out, no mana. And yet he just kept attacking. Like, all I can think is that maybe... Because, okay, backing it up, I'd be willing to bet that final card in his hand was a Take Vengeance. I don't know why he didn't use it earlier. Actually, it probably couldn't have been. In that case, I don't know why he didn't attack. I was going to say, like, maybe he had a Take Vengeance in his hand, so it's the classic, like, I have a Take Vengeance that kills something tapped, so he must have something that kills something tapped. So he was worried about tapping his shit, so he couldn't do it next turn. Like, I could kill it that turn. But, yeah, no, he just took away all the pressure. He probably could have damn near killed me in that last attack if he had put the pressure on early. Because he had, what, 2 or 3 situations where I had nothing out and he could do, like, 2+ damage. I think it would have been, like, 2, then 4, then 4. So that's 10 damage right there that he could have done early. But anyway, we are going to leave this thing here. So thank you very much, everyone. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to see more content from me, the Aussie Nerd, feel free to subscribe to my channel. If you think you know any friends might enjoy my content, make sure you share a video or two with them. I really appreciate it. And finally, if you want to leave any hints, tips, tricks, thoughts about that mill deck, like how to improve or anything like that, or really anything at all, make sure you leave them in the comments section down below so that I can see it. And I will see all of you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.